Hey, I feel like doing this. Closing a window. Oh, I'd like to talk about something that happened today. Um, so, I'm in school, and it's only a few blocks from here. Um, and I have this classmate who is in my Spanish class. And we've become kind of close. We're a little bit similar. Like, he, well, he's about the same age, same race, and being in Berkeley, it's pretty diverse. So we just thought, hey, we're kind of buds. We're contacts for the class, and we only started this, I believe, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We started our class. Anyway, so his name is Waters, and he kind of just felt the need to tell me about this story today, which was pretty neat. And it kind of opened up this connection that I didn't know that we actually we had together. And I guess I could tell you what that connection was. It was cryptocurrency. So anyway, as his story went, he had, and I hope Waters is okay with this. Not like too many people are going to see this. Waters broke up with his girlfriend in LA, and he'd been with her for a few years. And his life was kind of really seeming down. He tried to go back home to Virginia and figure out life. I'm not sure like all the details, but he tried to make it work. He tried getting a job, but he was just so like depressed that he couldn't figure it out. He couldn't stay at that job. So he's living at home with his parents. I don't know if that's like, I've done that recently a few times. And what he starts to do is like making t-shirts online, like prints. I don't really know how you do that, but he designs it, throws it on a shirt. He's selling those on Amazon. He's making some money from that. Like, I don't think it was that much, but so that's helping him out already. Is this it's the internet, right? I mean, you can't do that just living at home. Anyway, I think you'll see this whole topic playing out here with me is how the internet is just revolutionizing everybody's life. I think people already know that, and it's not like rocket science, but it's really taken off. Anyway, I'll come back to the story. So with Waters, I didn't ask him because he was just like in his mode, like getting this out to me, and he wanted to kind of just like share his feelings about how he came through on this, like being super low, having like nothing, and how his life just flipped around. And I think this was only 3 months ago that he got into Berkeley, and he was living a whole different life in Virginia. Anyway, what happens is he starts getting into crypto, and I didn't actually ask what he started with to make his gains, but he turned a lot of money into, not that much money, into about $6,000, which is much more than he was working with before. So just from that changed his life. And I think, the implications are that it goes further than that. That's just the start, right? Like maybe cryptocurrencies, the internet, will be changing people's lives. So yeah, I love these themes. I could kind of sense that, and it was just giving me a nice reflection of that, like Waters was. So he was really just expressing to me his like feelings of being down and out and just making these decisions. And he even took some risks. Like he put a couple $1,000s down on a car, and not just any car, which I would think he's much different than me in some small ways. Like I would just get like the cheapest car, if I only got $6,000. But he kind of made a bet. He got his way into, having, maybe had some credit, going to the dealership, getting a brand new car, exact car that he wanted. That's crazy. Like I would not do that. It's just so weird because I've been a lot like Waters, and he's told me he's done this a lot before too, where he goes from place to place and kind of, money like fluctuates, not really having like a real drive or a real home. I don't know what it all is, but just feeling kind of like lost, kind of floating and not being really established. But he just felt like getting things done. And he felt like crypto gave him that, motivation and that like spark. So he may have cooked in the past, but then he ended up getting like one of the best cooking jobs around here, as he tells me, which is for Facebook. He cooks food, good food, for Facebook employees. Anyway, yeah, that just revived my whole thing. I've actually, once in a while, I'll look at my Blockfolio, where I've had, I don't know how much it maximum, but I've had some funds in there. Right now, I think I really don't even pay attention to it. I've just been so busy with school and doing other things that I've tuned it out, and because I get so far into it, and I do think it's so interesting. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, so just Waters revived this idea that I've had, even though his holdings went way further than mine did. But I sensed it. Like I made like a couple $100 from, I don't know, like what I put in. But I was seeing like how the possibility of just I can't really like theorize on it too much because I'm not in finance, or I haven't really looked at this. But when prices fluctuate, I think it just in general you could see that like power and everything, like the following is there,
Other insurance companies,
and a lot of these companies,
they don't care.
Ooh,
I've never had the service
fun
you have
commercial.
with USAA.
Having insurance is something everyone needs, but having USAA,
Can't skip that one.
that's a privilege.
And yeah, just I'm having a real hard time explaining this, like how that potential is there, and just what I've been getting from it this whole time I've been looking at crypto. I just wanted to like tell you guys that story, that he had a pretty nice little hair in my mouth. He had a nice story to tell, and like a success story from it. So he looks great. You would never think this guy was like had a rough time. He was like chronically depressed and like just at the very bottom. And yeah, just so cool to see how he's changed. And like, this is one of the most expensive places to live. Not that he's like shooting for that, but he's probably, I think, maybe a place where I'm at, where it just seems like an interesting place. You're not necessarily trying to like live in the priciest place in the nation. It's one of them, actually. And it's kind of weird because we have so much homelessness and things that it doesn't seem like it should be. Well, maybe that's like an indicator of why it's expensive. But right, like who wants to really like live in a place where there's like all these issues? Well, you've got the good and the bad, you know. Not to say homelessness is bad, but it's not ideal, and you don't want to be there. And I have nothing against people that are in that position. I'm just thinking of when I had this summer camp job. You never want to call, just a few months ago, you never want to call the kids bad kids. You know, our thing was for the school, they want to call them undesirables. You know, just makes people feel better rather than giving them the same old terms or a term that's not going to allow people to feel as good as they should feel or could feel or want to feel. So anyway, homelessness, it is an undesirable situation. One which, you know, I think as far as even though crypto, gotta watch out on these corners. Interesting setup with these walls. Even though crypto is not the language you hear being spoken in most places, it soon will be. I mean, it's connected to everything that is on our mouths these days, which is what? I mean, you could tell me. You know it. It's, and I don't even use all these, but it's Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. Oh my gosh, I don't even know all the others that have been popping up. But then it's like those little like phone games, and I was just looking back at some of this news about crypto because I just, you know, was interested in kind of getting back in touch and just seeing where the crypto space is at. And I guess that's one new company is hoping to tie gaming in with I guess it's your money. I really don't know where cryptocurrency is going to go, or like what the method is to really gain adoption and gain the following, and to just be successful. Like I wish I did. I wish I just like had some classes on that. Oh my gosh, all these walls. I know how to hit my head, that's for sure. You know, and I've thought, because it hasn't taken off yet, but the way I think of it is possibly we have like a set cap where, you know, one of these coin companies, startups, whatever you call it, they start with a set amount that everybody is allotted. You know, it's a given that you will be allotted this amount of coins, and I haven't really gone over it too much, but I really think that's where it's going to go, because you see the markets, how they fluctuate and how difficult it is to get like mass adoption for any currency other than Bitcoin. And even Bitcoin has been struggling like this last like year, and it's just been it's a slow process, and I just think it could be so much more smooth. So that's just my idea, and I'm sure there's so many ideas. There might end up being a way different method to be utilized by everyone, you know, across the world. But I don't see it happening through just the same money, like converting our money into a coin. Because I think what we want to shoot for as as part of like our ideals as people is like we don't want what's been happening. We don't want the same old thing. So we're going to have to do things a lot differently. And just, changing our money towards a coin, that maybe that's enough, but I don't think so. I think you have to change the whole way that you're thinking about your interactions and like what money is. Because I only think that that our currency, our money would be used in similar ways. Like I need more and I want to buy low, sell high, that sort of thing. And I think that whole idea just needs to die, personally. But I haven't been following this news. It's just and I'm sure like a lot of people would think that just follows socialism, and I think there's its own like the whole thing about there's politics around what socialism is, and government control just like trying to keep you from what that is. I think there's a lot of unconscious behaviors that we have, and our politics is one of them, like a huge portion, right? And that's just a reflection of how the things on the inside are just really just unconscious. Like it's not what we really choose, it's just what we say, it's just what we regurgitate. And I don't know how it happens. I mean, I do know. I mean, I have some things that I know that I've taken from my parents, or family, or friends. But it's a little bit, for me, it's a little bit different than other people. Like, I don't follow my parents in politics or a lot of things. Like my life has been a lot different than what they've done with theirs. It seems like, and they kind of give me a hard time, but they've been accepting it as much as they can. Anyway, and my life has, I'm just going everywhere, but you could have a little piece of like who I am, what I'm about. I've just jumped around a lot of places. Like, I've moved to a couple different states, and I've traveled around Asia mostly, and taught in Thailand recently. That was a lot of fun. I mean, that feels like a big part of me. That's like it's like hard to say like what I am, or like what my beliefs are, or what I'm going to become when I'm old, or what my career is going to be. So how do I get back on track now? So anyway, I'd be curious, like, I totally am curious, like, what other people think about, just our future in general. I mean, if you don't know about cryptocurrency or Snapchat even, that's okay. I mean, I'm still curious how you think of like the world's future, and I hope it's kind of positive. I know some people aren't quite, they don't take their ideas there, and it's it's understandable with the way things go these days. It's just we're surrounded by a lot of negativity and just triggers. I don't follow the news, so I mean, you could throw the news in there if you want to talk about it, but I actually don't know what the current events really are. I'm one of those people that I get too affected by it. I wish I could like face it like head on and just like get into the stuff, but it never suits me well. I just get too but I just want to throw up, literally. But I mean, I think it's a really important too. I think a big start of my life was realizing that, and actually it was around money. I somehow just started doing this little like Google searches or like Wikipedia or saw some kind of YouTube video that just challenged my beliefs about like, I don't know which one it was. But there was one that, and I don't know the name of this, but it was all about like the structure or like foundation of our money system through like the Federal Reserve and just like, even, I mean, if anyone just studies the Federal Reserve, they'll kind of come to some conclusions, and I don't know how people like still follow like our government or like your normal life after you realize that that we're kind of just being milked as a people, from like our government, from like the federal money we use. Yeah, and I wish I knew more about money and could kind of get into that, but it's not my specialty. I think I'm gonna be served by a haircut soon. It's a little bushy. Anyway, that's the bulk of what I'm wanting to share. Vegan tikka masala. And there's an amazing, if you're into the vegan thing, I sort of am. Just no meat other than fish. Try to stay away from fish too. No cheese, so I do some vegan stuff. There's this place I just ate at, if you're ever around Berkeley, and like the school, UC Berkeley. I go to the junior college actually, so it's even closer to me. It's called, Butcher's Son, I think. And you think it's a butcher shop with normal meat, and that's what tripped me up the few times I was walking around university kind of looking for food, and there's not that much food for my interests, but I know we're supposedly in like food mecca here, or foodie mecca. Anyway, so they make their own meat, and it's not meat. I mean, it's like soy, but they make all these different types of like soy-based like meat alternatives, So they make some killer sandwiches. They got their like own cheeses that they make as well. Phenomenal. I mean, usually you go have like some vegan food. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of common. You got just like a ton of vegetables going on. That's what I'm used to. Like vegan place that does like good salads and smoothies and wraps. But these sandwiches, I had like a tuna. Actually, I can't even tell you. And I think the lady said it was tuna. Comes with a nice little side salad of your choice. Everything's vegan. And usually I gotta like slim my options down for all my my restaurant orders, or ask the staff about it. But yeah, this reminds me of that. I just had that sandwich yesterday. Killer, huge portions. So yeah, I don't need to go through my whole life like I tend to do. Tend to just talk. Not exactly one of those people that carves a straight line with everything. Like I have this one purpose. Sometimes I, talking with people, or if I'm doing something like this, a voice recording, journal entry, I don't just talk about like, I don't just like list things like I fed the cat too much today and it got sick, or grocery list, or things to prioritize for this weekend. Like I just go all over, in and out. And usually, if in my own writing, and I'm sure this is how journaling usually goes, because you would talk more about your feelings, right? You go more into like your thought process. Yeah, I'm one of those people, and just weave around subjects. I guess that's normal. Now, sometimes you operate in the world. Well, I certainly do. And you start to think that you kind of feel separate from people. Like they got a whole different thing going on. You don't even know like how they think. You can't even tell. And everyone seems to be such like an individual, exception of well, I'm thinking of like tattoos. It's like I don't know. People try to express themselves and their individuality through tattoos, right? But I don't know. I don't know. Just the way my life is right now and has been. I think traveling does it too. It's just, and you're just not like stable. So you just don't know how to like pinpoint things, and you just don't know how people like really are. It all seems like we're just moving around, and like you see like new life coming up, like someone's got a baby and people die. It just seems so what's that word? I used to say this all the time, but you know what I mean. It's so temporary. It's so, yeah. Anyway, it's that's kind of how I operate my life sometimes. Like, and it's like you only catch glimpses of like who people really are, and then when you start to get kind of close with people, or like, oh, they're telling you like a really cool story, or you feel like you have this understanding, like, I don't know, like we all have such different lives. We want to achieve different things, We want to go to school for different reasons, different majors. We want to live in a different state or country when we're older. We want to have a different amount of kids. I don't know. Why does it? I think it's part of just like our foundation of how we live here as people. We're not really like building connection. And I think it's been an awkward phase with our evolution, but I think it's getting better. And this relates back to this whole connectivity through the internet and globalization, really. that's all those things are like really inspiring, and somehow I just felt really inspired when I tuned back into some of the crypto news, like from a few people I really like. Who's the first one? Oh, I know the one was Supo Man, with an O, Supo Man. I usually watch the Crypto Lark. Haven't seen his stuff in a while. They're all really great at what they do in different ways. Sky Talks Crypto from I think she's in Ireland. But yeah, I watched just a few of those people, and it just reflamed my passion for like what's to come in the future, and we've already got this great stuff happening through the internet, and I think it's going to be used in some really extraordinary ways, and I think this bridge between our lives and this awkward phase we've been in, and still we still are in. Maybe I'll be there forever. I mean, maybe I'm just different, but it feels that way. I think it's gonna come around and be able to flourish.